Thank you very much. I would like to thank you to Chantal. I would like to thank you to organizers for this extremely required event, because we have to speak about the beauty of the trees. We have to speak about the beauty which has to be the part of my life. But before I start, there is one message that I want to tell you, and I think this is the main message for my presentation. I just want to thank you to all of you for the support you provide to my country. I know that without your support we would not survive. I just want to ask you, don't leave us. This is very important for all Ukrainians. And yesterday we have spoken about the flags, if they are important for us. When we traveled with my daughters from 16th of March towards Britain, I have seen a lot of Ukrainian flags in many windows, and my daughters tried to see them and say, here, we are supported. And that was very important for us that time, and it is still important for us now. I also want to support the presentation of Celia with a message that when I left Ukraine on 16th of March with my children, I drove. My GPS was a bit mad, and instead of 5-6 hours to Kharkiv, I have spent 11 hours to Kharkiv. But we drove through the wonderful villages, I don't know why, in Slovakia. Then we found ourselves in Poland. And our trip was among the trees alleys. And among them, that was the very first time when I felt myself absolutely safe, when I could forget about the bombardments and about the alarms. And that was the first time when we could smile. Then I had another trip from Kharkiv to Vienna, as well. Instead of main road, my GPS led me through the tree alleys, and it was really a journey which I would remember forever. And our first journey with on the bus, which we have which we had here, reminded me about that safe journey. I was a former banker, and I used to work in the best French bank. I don't know which one is the best French bank for you, but for me it was Crédit Agricole for 17 years. And but the wish to change the world led me to co-founder in the charity foundation. One of us, our co-founders, is the French guy, my ex-colleague Christophe Million. And this is just to explain you why the foundation is named Pelican Leaf, because our first project was devoted to pelican. I want to tell here about my colleague, with whom I met planting the trees again. It was his first day in our foundation. This is based on this QR code. You can find a lot of pictures of him. And Semen was a pacifist. He was against the war. But when the war has started, it was a very difficult decision for him what to do, to fight or not to fight. But then he decided to go to the army. And he had a very tough period of his life. And also he was a vegetarian. He called me, they provide meat everywhere. What should I do? I should just eat meat, that's it. And you have to get the forces. And Cement was really fan of trees, because he planted the trees whenever he could. He volunteered to many organizations, not only not only working in our charity, and he studied the forestry. in Ukrainian Forestry University, as well as he had a course in the Swedish Agricultural University devoted to the forestry as well. But what was his his opinion about all these courses, that, you know, they are talking about the trees as a production, how to cut the trees, how to grow the trees to cut them. I don't like this. I like to talk about the trees like a single ecosystem, like a part of a big ecosystem. And that was, and a lot of our small talks were devoted to this topic. And I was very much impressed how come the 21-year-old guy is so modern and so, and he's thinking much, and many steps ahead of all of us. And and I just wanted, and in June was a very terrible, June 2022 was the most terrible month in my life, and a month for his family, for his friends. On 8th of June, on 9th of June, he returned home for a while. He got married with his beloved Vera. On 13th of June, he had a birthday, but he decided that he has to go back to Severodonetsk. This is the city where he stayed, and he went to the city. I called him from London and asking him to stay with the family for a while. He said, "No, my team cannot wait for me. I'm needed there." So he went to Severodonetsk. I would say that we were very lucky that he was also asked to care about one of the most famous Ukrainian military journalists, and you could see the video about the man on the page devoted to the man on our website. And there are a lot of things that were told by the man. And on 21st, I just found every morning all Ukrainians who are not fighting spent on their social media checking if those who are fighting are on social media. So I have checked my social media. The man disappeared. I contacted my team, said the man disappeared. And on 23rd of June, my colleague called me that, "Yana, we have a bad news." On his friends on Facebook telling that he died. I didn't know what to do. I cried the whole day, and then I called to the botanical garden, and I didn't thought that it was 2 o'clock in Kyiv in the morning. And we agreed to plant the tree for the man. Then I have spoken to his family, and they said that the man grew ginkgo biloba. And then I remember that he dreamed to create a ginkgo alley. And he told me that he collected the seeds of ginkgo in other botanical gardens. So I told the botanical garden that we know the origin of this ginkgo. Should we plant the man's ginkgo in botanical garden? They say, of course. Why it was very easy for them to say, of course, because he was a heart of the project devoted to the watering of the arboretum in botanical garden, which we fulfilled as a foundation. And Chantal, if you could put a small video, Semen, not on the previous page, just for you to show a young guy digging the trenches. And so that was our Semen. And he had developed a new method of digging the trenches, thanks with the jumping. And Semen dreamed to become an arborist. He couldn't find the courses for him. And I have seen his development in this direction. And he tried to speak to many tutors in Ukraine. Some of them refused to him, and one of them agreed. And when he died, we decided to develop this direction in our foundation because it was very important for cement to become an arborist. And then we found that it is not working at all for Ukraine. There are no courses for those who love the trees. So we started to create the course, and here you see, and I would like to thank you, Piotr, because he is a driver of this direction, as well as this project is very much supported by British Arboricultural Association and by Lithuania Arborists Rinaldas. And we even published already translated first 2 books and devoted to the trees. And they are in Ukrainian, and I'm happy that they are in Ukrainian, and that was happened thanks to Semen. And yesterday we had a very nice exercise with you, choosing the nice shelter belt. So I just remembered that in our foundation we have a very specific project devoted to the alleys, to the shelter belts, which are growing in the fields, to the alleys on the roads, and to the alleys along the rivers. And its name is Shelter Belts of Life. And in 2021, in January 2021, we have done our own competition for the winter shelter belt, and we received plenty of pictures. And we have chosen one of them. You see the winter, this shelter belt in the winter. And this shelter belt, actually not we, it was a voting by our audience, and our audience has chosen this shelter belt. And during the 2021 year, we put as a cover picture this shelter belt in different seasons. You see it in autumn, in spring, and in summer. And here is the QR code. We even have done a competition if you could recognize which birds are singing in this shelter belt. But if you would like, you can hear it afterwards. I think we don't need it now. But what happened yesterday? This region was occupied by Russia during the first hour of our war. And I was very wondered about one very great person, Irina, who provided us this picture, and she was a very great activist of the nature and supporter of the nature, of different projects for her community, and she just disappeared. She disappeared since April. I didn't have any news from her. Every single month I get to her social media just to check if she is alive, and all her friends didn't know what is going on with her. I have buried her. But yesterday, when we did this exercise, I just decided I remembered my exercise, and I went to her social media, and she was active. I called her straight from here, and she said that in October, she managed to persuade from her native village, where she spent a year and a half only on the territory of her building because she was afraid to go out. And she passed many checkpoints and get terrible questions, and so she was not sure that she will be alive, but she managed this. So she came to now she's back to Kyiv, and she had to do her journey through Russia, to Baltic countries, through Poland, to Kyiv. So she's alive, and thank you very much because that was a very big question for me, and I just always kept her in my head, and yesterday I have found her alive. And last but not least, one of my friends, he's a very famous film director in Ukraine. Now he is doing videos for our commander, and he has made. I have asked him to make a short video for us. Just the last video. Just to show what is going on with the allies on the east of Ukraine. He covered in his video 3 regions, a huge territory. If we could see at least 1 minute or 2 minutes or maybe 30 seconds, I would really appreciate. This is another beauty that is actually not a beauty. The shelter bells are saving the lives for both armies now, and they are probably the main fields of battle because the main target of the battle. Many shelter belts are completely destroyed, and we would need to restore them. Actually, I don't know how, because most of them are mined. again, you will be able to get this reference in this if you make a picture of this presentation or of the slide, because it is not for public. I have also asked him not to show the bodies, because there are also the bodies in these shelter bells, to make it more light for you. But this is the reality of my country, and please stand with us. Thank you.